Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy the DFS Overlord back again with another video. Today is Wednesday, February the 15th. I'm going to be coming at you with some new NBA player props. But before we get into today's slate, let's look at yesterday. Let's see how we did, man. I told you that my smash play right here, this De'Aaron Fox over 30.5 points rebounds was going to hit. As you can see, he got 39. I also gave you that Kawhi. I told you those rebounds were just too low. Said he was going to go over. However, I did give you this Brook Lopez play. I don't know like what he did. Didn't really look at the game. I don't know if he got into like foul trouble, but these 4 points just did not cut it. So we lost out on that. And here's some other picks that I put into it. DeAndre Ayton, as you can see, he went over. Derek White went over. Paul George needed one more bucket, man, and he didn't get it. So this is pretty much how we ended up last night. We were 4 out of 6, which isn't too bad. But in today's video, I'm going to be giving you more plays. I'm actually going to be helping you try to get that 6 for 6 because that's what I'm going for. So let's get into our first play. For my first play, I'm looking at my good friend James Harden tonight, and I'm looking at these points versus Cleveland. I like him to go over 19.5. As you see, he's averaging 23 over his last 5. He's been shooting the ball very well. Dropped 28 against Houston, 29 against Brooklyn. Now, if we go over to props.cash, and if you don't know what this website is, it's a great tool to give you insight, let you do research on the picks and player props that you want to play. I mean, if you're not using a tool like this, you're really just guessing. If you want to try, this tool in particular for free for 7 days, click the link in my bio. But anyway, we have James Harden pulled up, and as you can see, he's averaging 21.5 during the whole season, 21.4 over his last 10, 23 over his last 5, like I said. And this line has hit 6 out of the last 10 times. And I just really think that, he's in a good spot, although Cleveland's defense is ranked #1 and they're ranked pretty high, in all categories as it pertains to defense. I just think that James Harden is in good form. I actually got him pulled up on StatMuse here. This is also a nice tool to use. It's completely free. In his entire career, he's averaging 25.2, 8 assists, and 5.7 rebounds. Look at his point totals in the last couple matchups. He had, make sure this is points. Yeah, he had 21, 21, 25, 22. So his last 4 games, actually all in last year, 2022, he went over, he hit at least 20 points. So I think that this James Harden over 19.5 is a pretty safe play for our first play. Let's move on to the second guy that I'm looking at, and I like my friend right here, Jeremy Sohan, to go over 13.5. Now, over his last 5, he's actually averaging 15 points. I don't know what happened here in Sacramento. Hopefully he didn't play because that's a real nasty goose egg right there. But other than that, we see this man has an upside to drop 30. Let's go over back to props.cash and look at my friend Jeremy Sohan of the San Antonio Spurs. Now, one thing about the Hornets, who he's playing, they have a very bad defense. Look at this. Points allowed, 28. Field goals allowed, 24. They suck at the three-pointer, allowing three-pointers. The power forward defense, they're 28th, and they play at a fast pace, and their defensive efficiency is not good. So I like Jeremy Sohan to go over this points prop. I mean, other than the fact that he only had 4 points last time he played Charlotte, he's only went under this number once, and that was in the last game against Cleveland. But look at the history here, man. Like I said, he can drop 30. He's dropping 15, 16, 18, 17 points. I really like me some Jeremy Sohan to go over today. The sportsbooks kind of have it at a 50-50 bet, which isn't really bad. I mean, flip a coin. But I like Jeremy Sohan to go over this 13.5 just because the Hornets are just not a good defense. And I actually like to target Terry Rozier as well on the other side of this game because even though the Hornets are not a good defense, the San Antonio Spurs are an even worse defense and team overall. Now, let me go back here real quick. It's not only just the points that I like of Terry Rozier. Let me pull Rozier up. So I like a lot of lines of Terry Rozier. So let me take this off. It's not actually the points I'm going for. I like his points, rebounds, and assists. And although they don't have his fantasy score listed yet, I really would like to go for his fantasy score. Let me briefly tell you why. So when you're trying to decide between should I go with somebody's points, rebounds, and assists, or should I go with somebody's fantasy score, it all comes down to the blocks and steals versus the turnover ratio. On Prizepicks, turnovers take away 1 point. So whatever that person's fantasy score is, for every turnover, it's going to take away 1 point. Blocks and steals are 3 points apiece. Look at Terry Rozier's blocks and steals, man. He gets 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. So even if he has 3 turnovers, if he gets 1 block or 1 steal, that's going to negate that. So we're going to want to make a bet if we're choosing his fantasy score that he's going to hit more blocks and steals, that pretty much his blocks and steals is going to overpower the turnovers and get him even more points. So like I said, I like his fantasy score, or I would like to see his fantasy score. I would say, judging by all this, they're probably going to have it around like a 38.5 or 39. But I like his points, rebounds, and assists. As we see, he's been in great form. But the exception of these 2 games, he's dropping 29, 27, 24. If we look at his rebound numbers, you can see that they have his prop set at 4. He's getting 4, 2. He can get upwards of 7 rebounds. So that puts him around like that 3, 4, 5 rebound range. And for his assist, he can get 5, 4, 3, 6, 6. So that's why I like to target this over on his points, rebounds, and assists. I mean, let's be honest, Terry Rozier can get 32 points alone. Let's go to PropStatCash, and we see we have Terry Rozier pulled up. And like I said, for the points, he's averaging 21.8 on the season. He dropped 24 last time on this terrible San Antonio Spurs defense. I mean, look at the points allowed. Look at the point guard defense, 30 of 27. They play at a very fast pace. Worst defense in the league. Worst rebounding rate. Turning the ball over at a high clip. So remember, I told you those blocks and steals, they're turning the ball over, and Terry Rozier already gets a high amount of blocks and steals. Matter of fact, let's look at his blocks and steals. He's averaging 1.4 over the season. But look at this. Like I said, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 5. If he hits a 5, blocks and steals games, he can get 3 turnovers, and he'll still turn around and have 12 additional points to his points, rebounds, and assists. Let's look at his turnovers. He's only really turning the ball over twice a game. So again, like I said, even if he turns the ball over twice, if he gets 1 block or 1 steal, he'll have, plus 1 points to go along with his fantasy score. So keep an eye on that fantasy score. Let's look at his rebounds. As I said before, he had 6 last time against San Antonio. He can get 8, 7, 6 rebounds. For his assists, he had 6 last time against San Antonio. He can get 6 assists, 7 assists. And like I said, the points, he can drop close to 30 or even drop 31. So that's why I like the points, rebounds, and assists, because they have it set at 31. He got 36 points, rebounds, and assists last time. So I like him to maybe get like 32, 33. I know that's cutting it close, but as you can see, the sportsbooks have that line favored as well. So give me some Terry Rozier points, rebounds, and assists for my third prop, but I will be looking at that fantasy score. If it's somewhere around that 37, 38, no more than 39 range, I will be probably considering the fantasy score because of the blocks and steals upside. Let's go to our 4th pick. All right, so for my 4th play, I'm looking at this Tyrese Halliburton assist line. I just feel like 9.5, knowing what this man is capable of, I feel like that is just too low. I like him to get 10. As you see over his last 5, he's averaging 9, but I mean, he had 12 against Utah, 10 against Miami, 11 against Cleveland. I mean, he's going up against Chicago, who is very just up and down. They don't have no DeMar DeRozan. They're not really a scary team at all. Let's go back over to PropStatCash and see the research to see if that lines up. Now, one thing I do want to point out is like the sports books have this line favored to go under. So that's one thing to keep in mind. However, as you can see, he had 11 against Chicago last time they played. He averages 10.1 on the season. He's had 9 over his last 5, 9.8 over his last 10. But I mean, he's dropping 13, 12, 11, 10. He went under a couple times, but he's got this line 6 out of the last 10 times. And I just feel like for Chicago, like I said, although their defense seems pretty strong as far as the efficiency is concerned, look at their assists allowed. They're 23 in the league for average and assist. Point guard defense, they're 28th. Due to Halliburton's just history this season, I feel like just that 9.5 line, I know he can go over that. Whether he'll do it or not is really on him, but I'm going to put my money on him to go and get that. Let's go to our next play, and I really like my good man, Kelly Olynyk. Now, I like him to get 11 points in this tough matchup against Memphis. I like him to go over this 10.5 line. It seems like since Vanderbilt got traded to the Lakers, he really hasn't had to compete with him. I feel like they were kind of like, of course they play the same position. I feel like they were kind of competing with each other, but now it's just been all him. And as you can see, look what I'm saying. He's averaging 13.8 over the last 5. He dropped 18, 15, 14, 11 twice. So I really like this line, even though it's against a tough Memphis team. If we go to the research, we see that, let me go to Kelly Olynyk's points here. It looks like the sports books are slightly favored for him to go under, but I mean, look at the history since the 6. He's gone over this line the last 5 games. He had 19 the last time he played Memphis. He's averaging 16.3 over the season against Memphis, meaning he probably played them 2 or 3 times, and that's what the average turned out to be. So maybe he dropped like 11 or something like that. They got that average down to 19.3. But I mean, he's averaging 13.8 over his last 5, 10.5 over his last 10. But we need him to go over that by 1. He averages 11.8 on the season, and the majority of this number came with Vanderbilt being in the lineup. Vanderbilt isn't there. I just feel like, he can get this line. Let's look at the forwards history. So these are the forwards props against Memphis, and as far as the points are concerned, and as we see, a lot of the forwards are going over. It looks like more forwards than not are going over their line against Memphis. So I'm not super duper crazy about this play. I just feel like Olynyk is one of those guys when you see the game start, you look up and he already has like 7 points in the first quarter, and then he takes all day and maybe gets like the 11th point at the end of the third or something like that. I find him to always fall in like that range of like outcome. So I like me some Kelly Olynyk to go over. And for my 6th play, you're going to have to follow me on Twitter at DFS Overlord to get my 6th play to complete the parlay. And that's how we're going to roll today, man. Like I said, follow me for that last play. I'm going to probably put that up around midday so we can complete the 6 for 6. As of right now, we have James Harden at over 19.5, Jeremy Sohan at over 13.5. I really want to see what the Terry Rozier points, rebounds, and assists is going to look like. But as for now, I'm sorry, not the point, rebounds, and assists, the fantasy score. But as for now, I'm comfortable with this over 31.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I'm very comfortable with this over 9.5 assists for Halliburton. And I really feel like Kelly Olynyk can fall into this 10.5 points. So these are the 5 that I'm going to be going with. And I'm going to add one more. Like I said, follow me on Twitter at DFS Overlord for that last pick. And if you enjoyed this video, please just go ahead and give it a thumbs up. It's totally free. Like and subscribe to this channel. Cut on notifications. I've been dropping videos daily since the beginning of February. So let's continue to get the bag. Like I said, if I've been helping you out, if you like this video, give me a like, subscribe, and until my next video, which will be tomorrow, I will catch you guys on the flip side. Let's get these bets and make this money. Peace out, people.